This is Short and Sweet, a series of video interviews by Tracy Metz and Sanne van der Beek from the Design Salone in Milan 2015. We're here at the exhibition space and workspace of the Design Academy, and this year their theme is Eat Shit. I'm talking with the director Thomas Widdershoven and with the head of the food, non-food department, Marije Vogelzang. On the bike behind me, this is Thomas. Thomas, tell me why the theme Eat Shit.
Well, I think we eat shit. I think the industry is feeding us shit. And I think we should make a stance and come up with alternatives. That's basically why it's eat shit.
And are you coming up with alternatives this week? The students are here working. What are they working towards?
Well, quite a few of the students are taking it quite literal. So they are thinking topsy-turvy. So they don't see it metaphorically. They say, let's eat shit. Let's see shit as a resource, as something valuable, and what can we do with it? So one of the projects is that they have a producer who is a Japanese girl, and she does gymnastics and has a special diet to make the best shit possible. And they discovered, and that is something I think is very valuable already, they discovered that you can get over the disgust of shit really fast, and then if you start examining each other's shit, that it becomes a very intimate thing.
And what does this lead to in the way of a design, or is it a way of thinking?
Well, I think we have to rediscover or value the fact that food is about intimacy. So I think you can say that in the 60s and 70s of the last century it was all about sex and intimacy, and now it's about food and intimacy. So going from industrial projects where things went wrong, I think, to a place where we can really talk about food and intimacy is getting human values back into the world.
And I think it's a very Dutch theme, the way you've approached this. There's a lot of serious content here, but there's also a tremendous amount of humor. Well done.
Thank you.
Marije Vogelzang, you're the head of the food, non-food department. This is your first year. What are your students doing here?
I think what is important is that we are a department focusing on food and non-food, but non-food in the sense that it's everything that is related to food but you cannot eat. And the ultimate non-food is shit. And I think you cannot work with food without dealing with shit and waste. So these are very strongly connected. So the students here are just doing their projects as if they were at the academy. So we just transferred them and dropped them here. But we didn't change the way they were working. So they're still in the middle of their projects. So they're just doing their research. They're actually using the audience as guinea pigs. They're just interrogating them, asking their feedback, trying to see what happens. And it's about intimacy, as you say, but it's really also about looking at the subject of shit in such a different angle, looking at it as a valuable research. Actually, one of the students just called it, your body is a mine. You know, we are producing very valuable things like urine, which could be used as fertilizer. Shit could be used as an energy source, as biogas, or bacteria inside our bodies are really shaping how we behave and how we feel. This is very recent knowledge as well. So they're also making links to science, they're making links to agriculture, they're making links to daily life, to psychology, and that's really how I want this department to behave as well, to be making links, and food is the perfect tool for that.
We know you as a food designer in your own right. You've done some really beautiful work. Is this research or design?
What we're doing with the students? Well, what I think actually what a design, so I want them to be trained to be designers. I want them to have the skills and the mentality of designers and to use this skill with food knowledge and food inspiration on top of that, and also food context so they know what they're working in, to be moving in the world in between farmers and retail, in between psychologists and mothers that are feeding their children, in between industry and waste management, for example. And in between those specialists, they have their role as a kind of glue, but also as catalysts to make changes, to make new ways of thinking. And in that sense, they could be very valuable for the world of food.
Thomas Widdershoven and Marije Vogelzang from the Design Academy for Short and Sweet.